Welcome to Pin Moving with the boys.
I'm on with another stupid.
Well, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, panda bears and polar bears.
They're not even on the same continent.
No, but I'm wearing a panda shirt today, so I just thought it'd be funny.
Is that a designer shirt?
Yes.
Oh my god! Why do you have a designer shirt?
No, I think my friend bought this for me back in like 2016 or 17
when Panda became a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I first bought it, it was like down to here on me. Like down to here, like big baggy, and now I think this is the first time I've worn it in probably like 2 years. But
Nice.
I meant to put laundry away last night, and I just didn't do it. And I was like, instead of looking through my laundry bin for a shirt to wear to the podcast, because I don't want to wear my work shirt,
Yeah.
I just grabbed something off the rack. So
See, it's been raining all day here in Salt Lake, so
You got
this,
a hoodie.
this is literally what
well,
I've just been wearing all day.
I was wearing 2 shirts and a rain jacket all day, and at one point it was raining so hard you could see maybe 15 feet.
Really?
Oh, dude, it was dumping
Just
up there.
coming
And,
down
like,
the mountains.
Some of the dirt was like coming off the mountains onto the road. Like,
Mhm.
nothing crazy, like that's gonna shut anything down, like
Yeah.
what happened last year. But like, yeah, there were some parts I was like, oh, there's some rocks, and there's a giant rock, probably like, I don't know, bigger than that stack of discs for sure.
Yeah.
Big in the middle of the road. I'm like, oh god, I'm driving down. But,
I'm curious to see what they do with all that construction they're doing up there on like Superior and
well,
Hellgate and all that.
so they have paused that for now.
Okay.
They have paused it because they're so ahead of the project, and they saw these storms, these next few weeks of storms coming
Yeah.
through. So they've completely paused it, and basically all they have to do is put the towers on. And
Oh,
do
really?
tests. Yeah. So one of my coworkers in the winter, he's one of the leads of the project. Like he's on the mountain, like blowing stuff up, pouring concrete and stuff.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yeah, we are." When I last talked to him, they were 3.5 weeks ahead of schedule, which is
Dang.
insane.
That's crazy.
And they were like, I'm not gonna say numbers, but there was, hey, if you get this done before this date, we'll give you an extra X amount of
Bonus.
money.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, they want that X amount of money.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm glad to see they're doing more with that because of how bad the avalanches have been the last couple of years, especially in that area.
Yeah.
I mean, Hellgate in general just is a terrible
it's
area with
insane.
rock slides and everything else.
Insane.
So
Um,
glad to see you made it down alive.
yeah. Kai and Tim will be putting for a little bit, so ignore them or just don't. Tim got some new pixels, so he's stoked on that. But let's jump into some things. We don't really have a lot going on here in Utah. We talked a lot about tournaments last week.
Yep.
And I'd like to kind of continue that into this week and talking about like our tournament rituals.
Okay.
I thought of this last night. I was just like watching Iron Man 3, like, what am I putting on the podcast? What am I?
Yeah.
And I just couldn't think of anything. And I thought of some really stupid shit, and
Yeah.
I took it off immediately. So this is what we came up with. It's tournament rituals. We'll obviously talk about Idelwild and Worlds, pro world, and then what happened last week at Glow,
Okay.
and kind of like stuff around that. So
Yep.
let's jump into it. Tournament rituals. Do you have any?
I wouldn't say I have any tournament rituals. I think one of my biggest things is always going out, and I've done this with you before, where I'll go out and play a practice round, and I don't really care how I score on my practice round. It's more so identifying where my misses are on the course
Sure.
and mitigating those as much as possible.
Yeah.
So I know with playing tournaments in the past, a lot of people are like, oh, but I'm not birdieing here. Like, I need to be scoring. And a lot of what I do is more so trying to figure out how to not take extra strokes where I don't need to.
For sure.
So a lot of what I do is I'll just go walk a course, see where my misses are, see what, like, cool, if I end up left here, I don't want to be there. So let's just throw a safe forehand or something. Like, things like that. Day of, just a lot of caffeine. I mean, you know me, I'm a caffeine addict.
Yeah,
I need that.
Yeah, totally. Are you superstitious, like when it comes to tournaments and
No.
stuff? Okay. So I have a few superstitious things that have come from when I was a very like little kid, and it all started in soccer when I became a goalkeeper in soccer. For some reason, it was always easier to get my left glove on, and then put my right glove on for second. For some reason, and then that slowly became okay. Left shoe, right shoe, left glove, right glove. And so, like, going out for a casual round, don't really care. But tournament day, it's left sock, right sock, left shoe, right shoe.
That's not
Really?
Yeah, if you, like, it's, I don't know, it's just, like, one of those superstitious things that I have. That's really it. I think, like, obviously what you said, like, going out and playing it.
Yeah.
With like what we're gonna do with Creekside and like States and stuff, what I would like to do is go get practice round, like 2 practice rounds in. The first practice round, like throw a few discs every hole,
Yeah.
and then from like the par fours or whatever, throw a few more discs from that upshot, or like throw a few from your best, few from your worst kind of thing.
Yep.
And then the second practice round is like, this is what I want to do, and this is what I should do, kind of thing. Like kind of like going like taking it down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I always keep notes during my practice rounds when I before a tournament. Like, I'll be like, through this went well, but like that's not the shot.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times, like take, hole 4 at Creekside, right? You could throw a backhand turnover at it every time and be like, oh, I'm parked, like almost aced it a few times. During a tournament, I'm 100% always throwing a forehand at that.
Yeah.
Because it's a super safe shot that gives me the highest percentage to birdie,
Sure.
regardless of like where I'm at, kind of thing.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
so like I kind of try to take results out of my practice rounds before a tournament and bring it more into like what makes the most sense here.
For sure. Give you like, when it comes to tournament day, it's what does the disc do? It goes straight, left, or right.
Yeah.
Right. Just get it down to that.
I think the one like not ritual, but like saying I go through in my head on tournament day is let the disc do the work.
Yeah.
Because so many times, like you see me, like I'll rip on something and just like try to force it to do something that it doesn't do or whatnot. Be like, oh, I need to put more power. It's like, slow down, let the disc do what it does, and just like throw the shot that you know that you're supposed to. Because like sometimes I get in my head where I'm like, oh no, it's an envy. Like I always throw an envy here, and you're like, stop doing that. Like,
Yeah. Let the disc.
let the disc do the work.
I have I have a thing in my bag that I half wrote and a friend half wrote for me, and it's basically just like words of like positivity. And it's like, play your game, don't play down your competition, because I tend to do that a lot. And it's like basically just walking me through like a pre-putt or a pre-disc like little thing, and I try and read that before every tournament, before every round. And if it gets bad, like I'll pull that out. I pull it out I think 2 or 3 times during a tournament. But pull that out, give it a little read, take a deep breath, and then just like try and refocus in. Like I just have it in like a little container.
Yeah.
That like I wanna make the container. I wanna paint it a little lumpy, because that's like my child, But yeah.
Kai, do you have any pre-tournament rituals or anything that you do like superstitiously?
I always, not maybe during the tournament. I chug some caffeine. I'll chug some caffeine, and then I'll also, every time I putt, I have a chalk bag. I go tops. I go 1 2 1 1 2.
Mm.
I don't know. It helps.
Sure.
Yeah,
I don't have an. I don't.
I didn't think about that, but I like no, without thinking about it, before I throw, I almost always spin a disc on my finger.
You do
Like-
do that, yeah.
Like even when I'm like getting ready to throw and set up, I will literally just be like here spinning it and then go to throw. No,
The GoPro's messing up.
Might be my cord.
Come on, GoPro.
You're back.
We're back.
We're back. Okay.
Yeah. I tend to like spin a disc on my finger like this and then I'll just like go right into it. Like I don't even think about like where I'm grabbing it really.
I got one that I just thought about. Kai, thanks for saying putting.
Yeah.
My putting ritual,
Yeah.
unless I'm inside 10 feet, mini, disc, my putting disc in hand, my whale sack, and my other putter in my other hand. Unless I'm literally like tapping in,
Yeah.
I always have to have another disc in my hand. Like practice putting and stuff, I'll have like 5 discs in this hand, and I'll make the first 4, and then the 5th one when I don't have anything in my hand, I'll miss.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. It's just like
I do
little
the
things.
same thing. I have 2 putters and I always have one in the other hand when I putt.
Yeah,
Like I just feel like I need that like balance. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. Let's move on from rituals. I think that's like good stuff though. Like,
Yeah.
I think getting in the tournament, like, and having something that you do that like gets you like game ready. Oh, I got one more that I just forgot about. Party shirts. I'm wearing that sun shirt until it's basically time to tee off, unless it's 1,000,000 degrees.
Gotcha.
Right? Like I'm wearing that sun shirt, like, and when that comes off, it's like it's game time. Because like during soccer, we'd always warm up in like sweatpants and like long sleeves, and then when it's game time, just rip
It could be 30 degrees out. I was still in shorts, man.
Yeah.
I run hot.
Yeah. Well, being a goalkeeper, I almost always wore sweats.
Yes.
And in
You want that for diving and everything.
Yeah, in
else.
Colorado, we have some really shitty turf fields and some really bad grass.
Yeah.
Like the nice grass and nice turf, I wouldn't wear sweats because you don't have to.
Yeah.
But like my freshman through sophomore year turf field we have was as hard as this table, with about that much like turf on it, with
Yeah.
like 1,000,000 like little black beads that just ripped you up. Like there was a day I came home and I had like strawberries all over my legs and hips because you're just diving all the time. So
Yeah. I know the feel. Like I only played goalie for a couple years, but like I know the feeling of
Yeah.
just like diving and just like landing on crap.
yeah. All right, let's get to these two right here. Okay,
Okay.
so
They're not distracted.
I wanted to talk about this because obviously everyone has good and bad days on the course. We all have like days where we could be shooting, you know, if you're making everything from C1, like I could be shooting, I don't know, 8 down at Creekside pretty consistently, I feel like.
Yeah.
And this past, even though it was glow, this past week I had the worst hole of my life. The worst hole, not the worst round, the worst hole of my life. Hole 7. First shot was it wasn't a great first shot. I got unlucky, hit a tree. I
Take
thought,
for granted we're playing at night. You can't see anything.
true.
Just throwing glow discs and hoping you hit lines.
Yeah. My second shot, my scramble was actually pretty good.
Yep.
Like I was edge of circle.
Edge of circle.
And so that was for par. And I'd go on to take an 8 on the hole.
You went from 30 feet to 30 feet the opposite direction to 30 feet the opposite direction to 30 feet. At what point do you slow your putt down? Is the question. Instead of continuing to throw it harder and harder at the basket and just going 40 feet past, when do you slow your putt down to be like, okay, I need to be able to like actually make this putt?
Well, my putting hadn't felt good in 2 weeks.
You were making lots of putts.
Yeah, but they didn't feel good. Like, remember, what was it, like 3 or 4 weeks ago, you were like, dude, your putting's like really good.
Yeah.
And like, it was feeling really good. And then I took like a week off just because work has been so crazy. And like, I want to just go home and take a nap afterwards.
Yeah.
That it's 1,000,000 degrees out till today.
Yeah.
And I just like didn't want to do anything. I just want to go home and chill. and I'd go home, hang out, and do nothing. I wouldn't touch a disc, and like I touch a disc almost every day, just like even just on the couch.
Yeah.
And my putting went from like 70% C1 to like 40, like overnight. It felt like.
I noticed that you're throwing your putt a lot harder now too.
Yeah.
I think that's like a mental compensation that you're kind of going through with like, oh, I'm not getting that pop I want or whatnot. So you're just kind of like throwing harder.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. Kai gave me some tips, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But Kai gave me some tips, and it started to feel somewhat back to normal. But that was more like straddle tips than anything. But
Yeah.
I brought it into like my normal stagger, and it felt good. I also am not like fully switched, but I putted with runes for a few rounds. Just to try it out. Like I would have an envy and a rune.
Yeah.
Do one of each, and the envy obviously like it feels good in my hand. The rune feels good in my hand, but it's sometimes you need a change to like get that mental block out of your head.
Right. Throw the notion in.
I've been thinking about it. That's me. Sorry.
No, that was me dropping a disc as well at the same time.
But it's hard to like when you get a mental block in your head because you've been doing something so well for so long, and then you're like, why am I doing it wrong? Like,
Yeah.
that hole really killed me, and like I went home that night and I didn't feel great about disc golf at all. Like I was debating on like, do I want to play the sport again? Like that was embarrassing. But like at the end of the day, you gotta fight back and try again, figure out what was going wrong, whether it's mental, physical, like, and like get back on the course and like work through it. You know.
Well, I feel like glow is like the worst place to really like think about it because like I miss so many putts because I can't see where the disc is when it like yeah, it's glowing, but like depth perception and knowing like angles and stuff like that, like I couldn't tell you if it was a good putt because I didn't see the flight of it through like half of it.
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't know if that was actually a good putt and my aim point's just way off because like depth perception's weird
For sure.
or whatnot. So I feel like glow is such a hard place to be like, oh yeah, my putt's like way off. It's like you could just be off a little bit from like your normal like rhythm.
Yeah.
And just like it's weird at night, right?
Yeah.
Because like I come in here and putt like 30 feet from a straddle and I'm draining them half the time. I go outside 30 feet from a straddle and I'm yanking them right.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there's no wall behind it. Like I can't physically be like, oh yeah, it's only 30 feet.
Yeah.
Like
For sure. And like the putting woes that like, you know, people get, I understand it now because it like happened to me. And like
I feel like it's a little different though. Like in Evelina, like her putts are like nowhere near the basket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like that night, like my putts felt all over the place. Like even the putts I made, like didn't feel good out of my hand. You know what I
Right.
mean? I felt like I got lucky. But you need to, you know, find a consistency and a rhythm and stuff like that. So
Yeah. It's like I said, it's hard. Did you see not to jump ahead to Idelwild, but did you see any of the FPO coverage of Idelwild?
no, I
No.
really didn't.
There was a clip I wanted to send you of Owen during round 2 because both my bets for this week decided to have blow ups
Oh no.
mid tournament. But at one point, Emily Weatherman took a 9 on a hole.
I did see that. I was wondering what happened.
And she just had a few like a lot of OB strokes. One OB stroke turned into 2, turned into 3 kind of thing. Like instead of like trying to just stay in the fairway,
Sure.
she tried to come back. And literally on the next tee pad, Owen was just like, "I'm proud of you. Not many people would be sitting there smiling after taking a 9 on a hole."
Yeah.
And like just in Owen's like happy upbeat way, and just
Yeah.
like oh, you're taking it like a champ. Like I get that it sucks, but
Yeah.
like you could just tell she was like, I've been there before.
Yeah.
Like
And you definitely like you need to play disc golf with a throw by throw mentality and a hole by hole mentality. Like I have a hard time with that. And you know that. I have
Yeah.
a hard time with that.
you can't
But-
disassociate a hole once it's
Yeah. But like when like Solitude happened and I had 3 really bad chain outs. I forgot about those chain outs for a while. And then the last when I lost the disc, I forgot about that for a while. And then the final few holes, it just came back into my mind for some reason.
Yep.
And I was scared of it. And you need to commit to your shots and your putts, because if you don't, bad things will happen, and you're not even thinking about that. You're thinking about the past, and you gotta look forward. So
Memory of a goldfish.
Yep.
Just, you're on this hole. Last hole doesn't matter anymore. It's done.
yeah,
Just do what you need to do for the next hole.
for sure.
That's a lot. That's hard for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think I do that okay, but that's more so me just being ADHD and
Well, yeah. I mean, we both have it, and like, yours is more of a positive ADHD. Mine is
Yeah.
like anxiety ADHD sometimes, and I'm like, oh god, this sucks, and then it just barrel rolls down. So
Well, you know me. I'm sitting there like cracking jokes half the round, like
yeah,
just trying to keep things positive and light and whatnot, because I think that's how I mentally handle things better. Like some people are like, cool, I just want to be quiet and go off on my own thing.
yeah,
I'll be on the side just like cracking random jokes.
yeah. And I love that like casual round during like tournament round. I think it's funny still, but like every once in a while, I'm like, I need to lock in for like 2 seconds, Dave. I love you as a caddy, but shut up. But no, it's all good and fun. Like,
Yeah. It's different mental ways of handling
Yeah.
situations, right?
Speaking of, hey Ben, can me and Dave be on the same card for Creekside
Can
round
we
one?
not, please?
B tier, which means random cards.
Except for the. That's not always.
It's all random cards.
No,
Unless you both suck really bad and get the same card on the,
you mean play really well?
That's not bad.
or play really well.
Yeah, we're playing really well.
Although
I'll be on the featured card.
MA3,
No,
MA4.
MA4.
Yeah, you will.
can I have
Well,
can I have an early
my
feature?
cousin's like, you need to play MA3 because you just won a tournament, so you need to go up. I'm like, dude, I've been only playing for 3 months. There's only one other player on it in the division. Like, I'm not moving up to MA3 yet.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yeah, putting was crazy. Kai, do you want to come over here real quick? Because I'm going to talk about you, and I'm going to promote the hell out of you real quick.
Appreciate it. Chad's better for me. First round.
Ben better put me on lead card first round.
So before, if you guys haven't watched the previous podcast we did with Kai, it was great.
Which tournament?
This is Kai Kim. He is officially my disc golf coach
At least for a couple days.
for a couple days. We made a bet, not a bet, but Kai said he could give me shooting 950 and 5.
But I can't go.
I could give you the tools to shoot 950 pretty consistently, I think. I believe.
Okay.
I can give you all the information that I learned
Okay.
playing this.
Whether or not Ian uses it, different story.
Yeah.
I've been writing things out already. I got a list of what I'm teaching Ian and what I need to teach him to. So I mean, I'm
did.
taking it. I'm learning how to take it a little more seriously because I want to grow the sport and I want to teach people how to throw. So
Yeah.
Nice.
Sweet. Thank you. I'm gonna promote you more. So Kai, we were in here the other day, just shooting the shit, and I just finished a round. It was Saturday. It was my first round after my blow up hole Friday night. Me and Kai went out. We worked on a few things, and the things we worked on helped so much. Like, maybe not. Like, they help so much though. Like, you've always said my weakest link is accuracy.
Yeah.
And we were talking about like timing and like getting into a rhythm of stuff and like aim points and stuff. And he's like, even though my disc didn't go where I wanted it to, my aim point was like dead on. So we worked on that a little bit. And the real thing is like, do we need more coaches in disc golf? Like, we have DG, what's the Power Disc Golf Academy?
Yeah, which is like $300 a minute.
Mm-hmm. A lot of money. Would you ever take a lesson?
I would take lessons. I think my biggest thing is that I already I round like crazy.
Yeah, you do.
That's just my thing. I think a lot of people are like, oh, you can't be good as a rounded disc golfer. Like, you have to stop doing that. And I think it's finding the right people to like fill the right spots.
For sure.
Like, yeah, I should probably round a lot less than I do, but also like there's other things you can work on while still doing it. And I think it just depends upon your I mean, it's like anything, right? You get good coaches and bad coaches with every sport when it comes to it. So Should we have more? Absolutely. Do I think that people should have, I don't want to say like, I don't like not an accreditation or anything like that, but like a way
standard.
to, yeah, like a way to like suss out people, like I was a big proponent of doing like CrossFit when I was younger and everything else like that. And you run across a lot of bad coaches that are just like,
Yeah.
no, you'll be fine doing this. And it's like, that's how people get hurt.
Well, that's what, like, at Alta, being a ski instructor, it is one of the few places in North America that I don't know if it's a world thing, but in North America, it's one of the very few places, like I'm talking like 3, where you need an accreditation to be a ski instructor.
Right.
Whereas some other places like Steamboat, where I started, they don't care if you've ever taught before, you worked with kids before. They want to see you smile. They can teach you how to be a ski instructor,
Right.
but it doesn't mean anything. Whereas like Alta, I couldn't have worked at Alta if I didn't have a basic accreditation. And
Right.
now they want me to go to the next level, So it'd be kind of cool to see if that accreditation does happen, or if it's just like, Scott Stokely like comes out and be like, hey, you want to teach? This is like how you would teach someone. These are the words you would use, like things
Right.
like that. Just like hey, I took this 3-hour class, and I learned this. Signed my name, and boom. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
What am I looking for?
I wonder if that will become more of a thing the more the sport grows. But I feel like that's also a lot of like retired pros coming back in and being like, okay, do I, get into coaching or something like that? And if I do, should I start up like, oh, you have to be a part of, what is Yuli's Academy?
Power disc golf.
Power disc golf and all that. Like, I don't know. It's interesting to think about, but
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have, I think it's such a new sport and nobody's figured out there's no right way of playing disc golf,
Sure.
right? You look at the pros, everybody has different form. Everybody has a different way of throwing the
Different
disc.
style, different discs, like
Everything, right? So it's like being able to coach somebody and be like, this is what you do well. Let's work on that and make sure that it's even better, right? Like, so I think that's the best way to handle it. And you get that from people that know what the hell they're doing, like Kai.
Yeah.
So
you go out, you play with your local pro, have fun.
who
Teach
finds
your-
all the old discs?
Yeah, what do you got? What do you got for us right now?
Couple of new ones. This is a PFN Roadrunner.
Where I have something for every
I think it might be pad number 2.
chance. That's
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a nice
yeah,
one.
it's a pad number. It's probably
the trail.
10 to 15 years old.
Beautiful disc.
Then we got this Ontario tooled DX AVR.
That used to be mine, and I gave it to
Yeah,
the shop because I did not care about it, didn't know about it, but
He's-
I
I
did
think-
love the stamp. The stamp was very
I
pretty.
think
Yeah.
he done goofed a little bit. This one's probably 20, 25 years old. It's about 2000, right? Yeah, it's probably right around the turn of the century.
It's older than Kai.
Yeah, which is not saying much though. And then this is a Swirly Star T-Bird. That's supposed to be one of the most overstable runs. So KJ Nibo, but
Those are good. A few others.
just a couple MD3s and a couple Ricos to try those out because
Do you throw Ricos?
now I do.
Cool. Sick.
I'm
Love
trying
it.
them out.
But I think coaching is something that a lot more people should take seriously and like look into.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you want to take the sport and like get better, it's you go find a coach. Peace, Kai. Thanks, dude.
I think it's also hard because there's not a lot of money in the sport. So it's like, cool, let me get coaching to play in my local tournament to win $200, but that coaching cost me $50 a week or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's finding out like there's the outliers, like there's the your Rickies, your Pauls, your Simons that are making $1 million a year, but
Yeah.
that's not the norm.
No, it's not.
So
You know, most tour guys are pretty much living paycheck to paycheck, and like
yeah, and if you're a local player trying to get good, like
it's hard.
it's hard to justify the costs versus the outcomes. Like even if you become a great like local pro that can maybe do like Silver Series touring or something like that, or what is it now, Q Series?
Q series.
Yeah.
I
Even the
think-
winner of Q Series was what, like $5,000 maybe?
Yeah, I don't want to give numbers away because he just left, but Kai had entered 6 tournaments and he's come home with a good amount of dough.
Yeah.
Right, but it's it's side cash. It's not paying your rent. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you're not really making a living off of it necessarily yet.
yeah. But he's happy with how he's played this year, and seeing him kind of fall apart in that last round at Beehive definitely sucked. But like you could see the potential there. He was on lead card going into a Q Series event.
Well, and it goes back to the idea of like, was he playing for placement or for like the win, right?
Yeah,
like
I
and
think
it's like
going into the end of the day, like he had never been on camera.
yeah,
I think he was playing more for placement because Connor Rock is getting a silver card, so I
Yeah.
think he's invited to most tour events, maybe not all the majors, but most of them.
yeah,
Awesome job for Connor Rock.
Yeah.
That's awesome for him. Like,
but it's one of those things where like you're like 2-3 strokes back and you're like, cool, well I'm playing for the win, not for second or third place because I get an extra $100 or whatever for it. I think there always becomes like a placement there too. Like maybe halfway through your round, you're like, okay, well, he's now 6 strokes ahead. Let me just try to get a better placement and play my round.
for sure.
But
Cool.
hell yeah, go follow Kai Kim.
Yeah, Kai Kim. I don't want to mess this up, so I'm going to look it up while we get ready for our next little bit. Reach out to him on Facebook and Instagram. His Instagram is Kai_Kim Disc Golf. And then his Facebook, I don't have it up, but
Yeah, hit him up for lessons.
hit him up for lessons. He does field work and on-course lessons. I've done one of each now, and he's great. How I think, from what I remember, is he would like to do an hour of field work before you go to the course, and then go to the course and put that into fruition. So my
Gotcha.
first one was just field work. My second one was just the course because it's such a last-minute thing.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's get into some disc golf chat, some pro disc golf chat.
Heck yeah.
2024 PDJ Amateur Disc Golf World Championships presented by Discraft FA1. Let's do it.
So I'm so confused because this isn't the same World Ams that the qualifiers are for, right?
No, this is a different one. So this is through the PDGA. NADGC is a different amateur thing. It's so confusing.
They need
man.
to get their act together
I know.
and start. Damn.
This is just PDGA through ratings and wins and stuff.
Okay.
So Virginia help me, please.
Polkinghorn.
FA1 champ. She shot a 925 event after only being 898 rated. So good for her.
Nice.
I didn't watch at all. There are highlights out somewhere.
Are there?
I can't remember where they are. And then FA or MA1, Ryan Mon shooting 47 under through 5 rounds, shooting 19 above his rating. He has 1,000 rated, so
Yep.
technically a pro rating, but good for you, Ryan. Heck yeah, dude. He just dominated all weekend. Like, I think
Played solid rounds every day.
yeah, his like worst round was I think final day.
Nice.
Because he was on lead card. Day 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Day 3, 4, and 5. So yeah, dude played lights out. Like, look at this round 4. It was
Dang, 15 under.
15 under, and the guy below him shot 10 under with an ace.
That's crazy.
Yeah, insane. So, Ryan Mon, we're proud of you, brother. I don't want to talk too much about it because it is AMS, like it's
Yeah.
what we plan. But
Didn't follow any of it either, so couldn't tell you.
um,
We did have a pro tournament this weekend
we
though.
did have a pro tournament, and I accidentally just closed my thing. Okay, Idelwild.
I was supposed to play Idelwild last year. I was out in Kentucky on a climbing trip, and I unfortunately messed up my flight details.
Oh, no.
Again, this has become a habit, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
you're like my mother.
yeah, dude. Well, so I thought I flew out there with some buddies that live in Colorado. So I flew into Colorado first, met up with them so that we could rent a car, and I didn't have to worry about being like separate from them
Sure.
because the only way to get to Red River in Kentucky is to basically fly into Cincinnati, which is just outside of Burlington, Kentucky. There, basically in Kentucky, and drive down. Their flight back left at 9 p.m. My flight back left at 9 a.m. And so the last day, our plan was to drive back up, play around at Idelwild before going to the airport.
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, I didn't have time to join in the shenanigans
All
because
good.
I couldn't figure out a flight back to. I could get back to Denver. I couldn't get back to Salt Lake,
I see.
and I didn't want to have to worry about it. So
I see.
I wish I had played the course before because it looks like a super fun course from watching all the pros. So especially the FPO.
Yeah. FPO, it wasn't really much of a competition.
It was and it wasn't. I mean, it's a course that Own plays so well at because it's a lot about hitting your lines. Like I talked about earlier with Emily Weatherman, she was hot round, first round, and then second round just had an absolutely blow up hole. Yeah, she dropped way down.
+9.
Yeah, it was a rough second half to her round.
Yeah,
And that course just allows for those kinds of swings, right?
for sure.
And Owen's the type of player that just like she's not gonna have that kind of swing. She's gonna stay in the fairway, even if she has like a bad OB stroke here or there. Like she knows how to play it smart.
For sure.
It's also a very like scarce field.
Yeah, it's,
You know.
it's a field for sure. Like you got, Holland. You do have Missy Gannon. You do have. I guess that's really it.
Holland Finley didn't play too great.
Yeah, Ellie Ezra.
Yeah. It was just like a lot of the bigger players are either getting ready for Worlds or still in Europe.
Yeah.
Like none of the Europeans were there, so
Yeah.
super fun to watch though. Like I said, seems like a very scoreable course, but like
Don't mess up.
yeah, like you could easily take triple quads out
Yeah.
there.
For sure. Moving to MPO, did you watch the final round?
I watched the highlights from the final round.
Dude.
So we have a bet in the shop where you can bet on who you think's gonna win.
Yeah.
I had picked Emily Weatherman and Isaac Robinson as my two people. And we had talked about what happened to Emily after the first round.
Yeah.
And then watching Isaac on that final round was just heartbreaking for me. I'm sure it was heartbreaking for him.
Oh,
But
Dude.
Joey Buckets put on a clinic.
Yeah, he did. Congratulations to Joey Buckets. Bogey free last round.
Yep.
Which, like, at that course, I don't think it's that hard. As long as you're, like, shooting well and putting okay, you can go bogey free pretty
Yeah.
easily. Did you almost see his eagle on 18?
I did.
Dude, if that would have gone in, that would have been the most electric finish of all time.
Yeah.
Like, even though he ended up winning it, like,
Hitting the cage and
yeah,
for eagle, just like it's like you didn't need it, dude.
but he wanted it.
Yeah.
It was so sick. I don't know. MPO was like till the final few holes, like you didn't know who was gonna win all weekend.
Well, you had Calvin leading at one point, Isaac leading at one point. I think Ezra might have been leading at one point in the final round.
Ezra was leading at one point in the final round. I can't
Like
remember.
Emerson Keith was up there. Like
Yeah.
you just had a whole list of names of people that were like towards the top in that final day.
Yeah, it was crazy. That was one of the most exciting final rounds of disc golf. I think all season.
Yeah.
Definitely, definitely one of the more entertaining rounds of the year. But I could say that's the funnest round of disc golf to watch all season.
Yeah. Well, and it was a more wooded course, right?
Mhm.
So like Gannon still did well, but how do you think that fares for him at Worlds where they played 2 days at a very, hard wooded course, essentially?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens at Worlds. We'll get there in a minute, but I
Yeah.
do want to give a shout out Connor Rock, the guy who just won Beehive and secured a card for next year. 24th, 13 under. I was actually trying to see,
Heck
did
yeah.
AB play this weekend?
Yes, he did, right there. 43rd.
Okay, so yet again, another course.
He's on a roller coaster, man.
Yeah, he's either playing great or he's not.
Yeah.
And I don't even think it's the open courses. Like, yeah, he does great on open courses. Because I was talking to Jack and Andrew, the guy who aced, and we put the reel up.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, Arizona courses are just more open in general. Like, it's hard to put trees out there.
Yeah.
Except Flagstaff. Flagstaff is its own entity, I feel like.
Right.
But like,
those are even better. Well,
is that
leave the cart in the car so don't
if
take
you would rather
out.
take hitting a line or having an extra 150 feet of power to the rest of the field, what would you take?
Hit a line
100%.
all day. Because a lot of like the holes, when you think about distance holes too, like very few people are throwing like 700 feet on a par four, having extra distance even, right?
Yeah.
So if I throw 400 and 300 and you threw it 600 and 200, guess what? We still got to the same spot and the same amount of strokes, right? Like, I think that's more of the mentality of like, cool, you throw hard, but you're in the woods and you miss a line. You only went 40 feet.
Yeah.
Versus the guy that hit a line and only goes 300 feet.
Yeah.
But like he's now 300 feet down the fairway.
For sure. Definitely interesting to see. I think it was time for Joey Buckets. He needed a win, dude.
Yeah.
Like we have seen the potential of this guy this year and
Early
like,
season, he was at the top.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm rooting for the dude. Like
He kind of reminds me of his season. Kind of reminds me of James Proctor last year, where he was kind of just always tickling the top for a little while, like sprinkled in here and there, and then finally gets his win.
yeah. Joey, congrats, bro. That's huge. Great last round. Kind of wish you eagled that last hole.
It would have been fun to watch.
You know, because then you just like everyone else goes up and you pull your disc out. Well, you pull your disc out. You let everyone else putt, and you just like hear the roars. You know, the roars that would have come out of that would have been insane.
I think that the problem with disc golf, I find with a lot of these finishes, is that it takes away from everybody else that still has to finish their round.
Yeah.
Too. Like if he makes that, everybody loses their shit. And like, think about the holy shot, right? Everybody lost their minds.
Oh, yeah.
The greatest thing that happened. Meanwhile, everybody's crowded the field, and Paul's like, I still got to throw, guys.
Yeah.
Like, the thing's not over. The tournament's not over yet.
Yeah.
Like, and it kind of just like creates this like, we don't have a separation between like the crowd or the spectators and the disc golfers.
Yes. No, we don't.
I think we need that because if he eagled that, everybody would have been like running on the course and being like, oh, like
I think in this situation it's a little different though because he has like that.
He had strokes finished. Yeah,
he had strokes ahead. Like he didn't need to eagle that, right?
Right.
But if he does, like, holy crap, that's insane.
Yeah.
You know, the holy shot's its own entity and its own thing, but. Yeah, the crowd could have been better. That was madness, and like, yeah. I do want to shout out a few players here. Double G in the top 10. I think for the first time this year, maybe the second.
I want to say it was a weaker field, but it really wasn't. Looking back on it, like
really.
You still had Gannon, AB, Kyle Klein, Calvin, Isaac, like. All the top guys are
Chris Dickerson, Ricky.
Like everybody's still there,
Yeah.
Like.
I don't want to say it's a weaker field. I don't
think it was actually.
People are more looking forward to next week when we have arguably the biggest tournament of the year.
I don't think it's arguably
the biggest tournament of the year.
Yeah.
Like you have a lot of guys like Gavin Rathbun DNF'd. I don't know why. He did finish his round 1.
Okay.
I did talk to Nick Duran. He actually shot pretty good day 1 and day 2 and 3. He struggled, but Nick was at Idelwild. I was texting him a little bit, so yeah, it's interesting to see.
Yeah.
It'll
be wild to see what happens, like you said, next week. So not this weekend, but next week. We have Worlds out in Lynchburg, Tennessee. Virginia.
Lynchburg, Virginia.
Yeah.
And it's a field 208 MPO players. Not all confirmed yet, but I think most will be there. And then 89 FPO, which that's a pretty good field for
I have
FPO.
a hot topic here.
Sure, hit me.
That I don't want to spend too much time on.
Sure.
Do you think we need to cut the Worlds field? Like, shouldn't the Worlds tournament be like the best of the world, not just like if you can get in, you can get in.
How did you do?
You signed up.
Yeah, yes and no. I think yes and no. I think there should be.
Should there be like qualifying tournaments for Worlds? Is kind of what I'm thinking. Like you know how like you have like other build-ups for different things.
Yeah.
Like
But isn't that the disc golf Pro Tour finale?
it is, but that's more based on your points of how you did throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
Worlds could be more of just like a qualification thing where it's
Okay.
like a tournament. Like if you win your local tournament in Estonia or in Thailand or wherever, and you get an invite to play at Worlds, kind of thing. Because that's what I think of the Worlds. Like
Yeah.
when you think of the NFL and they're like, we're the World Championship. It's like no, nobody else plays but you guys.
Yeah.
Like you're not the World Championship. You know.
It's an interesting thing to think about. I want to relate this back to COD in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So
Could I put a team together to go play at like the COD World Championship?
you could.
Just randomly.
So right now, no. So Call of Duty franchise a few years back, so they only have a certain amount of teams in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, you would show up and you could have your local team that you had to qualify in. But the field was 150 teams with a group stage of 3, and only one team out of that group stage got through. And then the other two like would go to a playoff, like whoever got second would go to a playoff against another second place team, and then they would qualify into the next round.
So then we should do more cuts.
I would be okay with more cuts.
Like after like 2 days, you do a cut half the field.
Yeah.
And then after the next 2 days, you cut the other half of the field.
Yeah, I would be fine with that. But like going back to COD Champs, there was, you want to see that underdog story, and this is the place that it happens.
Yeah, but like a 980 rated player coming out and beating Paul Macbeth or
It's
Like, I don't even want to say it's an underdog story. It's just not gonna happen.
yeah. No, it won't happen. But like back in the day, like I don't follow COD as much as I used to.
Mhm.
But like I played on a team for a little bit. I had the fingers of a god,
Yeah.
I didn't have the map senses like some of these pros, but like I could shoot straight, and I could read players in certain situations. But you want to see that underdog at least make a run, and you want to see someone who you never heard of before. Like, how cool would it be? You see this guy, never heard of him before, comes up, shoots, top 10 first round. Second round, shoots another top 10. Like, who was a golfer last year that, like, played lights out in his, like, local tournament, and the PGA called him, it's like, we want you on your next tournament, and he just flopped. Like, we want to see the upcome, we don't want to see the downfall.
But that's the thing is like I don't think you're gonna get the upcome at a World's course.
Sure.
Right? Like, if you've never played the fort and you came out here and you're from, Kentucky, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna go play Worlds this year, and you just fly out here to play Worlds against people, like, you're getting spanked.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. But I'm sure there's a few of these guys who are like from the area who've played the course a lot.
Yeah.
And they, like Scott said, 4-stroke advantage on home court.
I just think that if we're adding this title to like Worlds being the biggest major, this is the title that you have to win. It should only be you competing against
The best of them.
the best, and you should have to like essentially qualify to be there. Like
I don't hate that.
if that's what the title that we're going for in disc golf is, then I feel like that's what it should be. It should be hard to get there, and it should be even harder to win. Right? Like
Yeah, I see your point. I would like to see more cuts at least. And maybe there is a certain way to like you have to qualify in somehow. Like you
Yeah.
have to win a tournament or place top, whatever in a tournament, whatever.
yeah.
Yeah. I can see where you're coming from.
That's the thing is like if you imagine you had some rando come in that doesn't even have their tour card
Mm-hmm.
that wins Worlds one year. Huge outlier, massive outlier.
Mm-hmm.
It gives him a lot of credit, but it also hurts like the prestige of Worlds, I feel like.
Sure.
Because then it's like, oh, some rando can just come in and win. How good are you guys?
Yeah.
Like I don't think a lot of people in the sport would ever think that, but you never know.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah. The more you say it, the more it's like I'm starting to like, yeah. I could, the Super Bowl you have to play how many games? It's I think
Yeah,
it's
well, you have
17
to 17 during the season, and
in the
then
playoffs.
the playoffs, and like even like take like hockey where you're playing, best of 7 throughout the playoffs,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like,
Would you want to see the field cut and scores wiped, or just the field cut?
just the field cut. I don't think you should ever wipe scores because it's just one of those things of like taking away from what you've already done
Sure.
for the tournament. Like I didn't like how they wiped scores last year for the Champions Cup.
Yeah, that was silly.
Yeah, but that's my hot take of the
Yeah.
week. Like
Yeah.
I just think if we're having this prestige, it's like, oh, it's a 5 round, like the pinnacle of being a disc golfer is winning worlds. Like it should be the hardest tournament to get into and to win.
Sure. Okay, I like it. I'm there. But everyone's out in Virginia. Got a big field, like I said, 208 men, basically 90 women. Not all verified, but all current and official, and just waiting on a spot, I think.
Yep.
I think they're gonna try and get it down to 190. If that was my guess, just with how many are not verified on here.
Yeah. And
Anyways,
I think they broke up the field too, so like there's an A pool and a B pool, and a B pool plays on the other course when A pool's not.
okay.
They like flip flop.
There's 2 courses, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It'll be interesting to see. I'm very excited to watch Worlds.
I'm excited to watch Kristen win.
Yep. Who's taking MPO this year? Ben, who's taking MPO Worlds?
Virginia McBeth.
On Paul's courses.
McBeth.
Okay.
That'd be my.
We're getting 7 claws, is what you're telling me?
I mean, he said like he's lights out at Worlds. It's on his course that he designed. McBeth would be my guess.
I like it.
That's what I'm cheering for. Sure.
I like it. Let's talk about 2 more things, and then we'll get out of Ben's hair.
Okay.
So the racer, Innova's coming out with the racer. Ben
Yep.
threw it once and aced with it.
It's a bad man.
Send me a second one.
Nice. Let me see it.
That's not the ace one.
Yeah, the ace one's over there. I saw it already.
How's it fly?
Is it the People's Destroyer?
No, the Wild Honey by Clash is the People's Destroyer, but I've still only thrown it once. I just got that in mail today. But that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be 12-6, neg 1-2. So it's a destroyer with more glide and less fade.
Sweet.
Ideally. So we'll see what it does. I mean, I'm curious.
Weird disc. I still don't like the beat on the nose, but
Oh, that's right. That's this. Yeah. Not a fan of that.
that's coming out in 2 weeks or so. The Cloudbreaker run
Yep.
that they're doing.
Gannonburg Cloudbreakers, right?
Gannonburg Cloudbreakers. Ben, will you toss one over here? Not toss, but yeah. Perfect. So these are hot right now.
They're color glow.
They're beautiful. Everyone's coming out with color glow.
Well,
That's
yeah.
all Ben's fault. You can all blame Ben Merloff for doing Night League, and everyone's coming out with color glow now.
Yep.
Thank you, Ben.
It looks remarkably similar to Eagles Cloudbreakers, just with Ganon's name across the top.
Yep. It also sold out.
So fast.
Wholesale sold out so fast. Ben barely got his hands on these, but I don't know. I don't throw a lot of Discmania. I don't bag any.
They're awesome.
So
Great.
I would like to throw one sometime, but I don't have money to spend on discs. I saw how much money I spent in the shop the other day.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Luckily, I pay cash, so I don't know.
No, they still track it.
Oh, damn. I don't want to know.
Yeah, don't.
Mine's not nearly as bad as yours.
No, but I am the number 6 tender in the shop. It's slowly going down though.
Yeah, I mean, Davey's like,
Well, he's way up there.
yeah.
Mom, I'm doing a podcast. Yeah. So new disc coming out. Nothing crazy. Hit it.
You want my disc
Let's
of the
do it.
week this week?
Dave's disc of the week.
My disc of the week is the Clash Disc Peach. I got one of these in a players pack right around when the Detour came out, and very similar flight numbers to the Detour. However, it's just a 4-speed instead of a 5-speed. which for me, I find it much easier to get it to actually turn and hold a turn versus like my detour just kind of goes like hyzer flip, dead straight, baby fade.
Yeah.
This will hyzer flip, give me like a little bit of turn out of it and just like come straight down.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that for like hitting lines in the woods or like playing up in the mountains at like Brighton or Solitude. Like a lot of those holes you have to throw 300 feet dead straight.
Yeah.
And a mid-range is like a perfect shot for that. And I've really enjoyed throwing it, especially in this steady plastic.
Their plastic is really good.
It's so good.
It's really good.
It's kind of scary how much Clash has taken over my bag this year. I have a few.
We should reach out.
I have a few different discs of theirs now, and like I said, I find that it just flies so true to the flight numbers, especially here in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you get that with a lot of discs, especially like, I mean, we just did the MVP trail review, and I wouldn't say that necessarily resembles the flight numbers, at least for how I throw or how you throw.
Yeah.
Versus like Clash money for that intermediate amateur player.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Peach, go out and get one.
They're great. They're super fun.
Fantastic. Like I said, four speed, but flies like a mid range, feels like a mid range.
It feels great, dude.
Beautiful disc.
It's a great disc.
Yeah.
Dude, Clash, their plastic is getting better, and I want to go throw more of it. Like, you have any bag updates? Like major ones?
My bag right now is a complete mess.
I know.
Like, I don't even think I've put like my tournament bag together since like the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's just filled with like I have a DX Dragon in my bag right now. Okay, like
Okay.
my bag is just a hot mess of just like whatever's been laying around that I'm like, this seems like it would be fun to throw right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like that cinnamon, right? That doesn't have a place in my bag. No. Well, the double steady cinnamon doesn't have a place in my bag during a tournament, but the regular one does.
Yeah.
Stuff like that where it's just like,
yeah. Your bag's all over the place all the time, and I never know what you're throwing. But
well, and then like we do glow and stuff like that, so then I add in like glow discs and I take out that, and I've just been messing with it so much recently that like I definitely need to get it back in order before NADGT.
Yeah.
Because playing 2 rounds up at the fort one day, I also have to do a fantasy football draft during that tournament, so that'll be fun.
I don't have major ones. I would say the biggest one is I put a pyro in, took a reactor out, and put a guava in.
I think mine is more so just finding like that Malta is flying a little bit straighter than it used to, and like maybe getting like a new Malta to put back in there. They like, you know, have the beat in slots, right? Like this is my less stable Malta, this is my more stable Malta, because I go straight from the Malta to a hex.
Yeah.
So
I lost my hex. I told you that.
yeah.
Do you guys find an orange rim space race hex at Creekside on like hole 5 or 7, 8? Please take it to the shop. Say it's Ian's. I missed that thing. Has that been turned in yet? Do you know?
What was it?
Space race hex.
No.
Did you lose it during glow or?
No, dude. I went out and played like after glow, and I threw a dune, and it was like a little inside. Didn't get quite as much flip up.
Yeah.
On the left side, and like pushed, and then I threw the hex, and I was like, "Oh, that's really good." And I have no idea where it went. Like it landed further left, like almost kind of between the walking path between 8 and 9. I thought.
Yeah.
I looked for 20 minutes. I couldn't find it.
Oh,
It's somewhere in the woods.
That's another thing that's in my bag right now, just because you gave it to me as a dude.
Yeah.
So I have like a peach, a detour, a dune, a
You have a lot of
hex.
flippy mids, dude.
I just have random stuff in the bag right now that's just been fun to, like I said, fun to throw things.
For sure.
The bag's a mess. I gotta straighten that
I'll
out.
figure it out. Cool. One last thing. Thanks for Trash Panda for sending us some discs.
Yes.
They're sweet. We got the new Dune Baja and Ice and Fire, and they're sick.
You're so nice.
So
fun to throw.
Yep.
Ben, do you have a shout out that you wanted to do? If I'm not mistaken.
Oh, the dye thing?
yeah, do it.
Okay, yeah, sure. So there's a local dyer who's awesome. He and I were talking for a little bit about this project idea that we had, and we're going to do all 151 original Pokemon as dyed discs. This is a lifetime coming together of my original nerdiness and my current nerdiness, which is disc golf meets Pokemon happily together forever. And I have no idea what we're going to price them at or how this is going to work yet, but it's going to be sweet. So
I'm so happy it's only the original.
Alex Kirk, aka Frosty, is going to be doing those. He's an incredibly talented dude, and I'm really excited about him. So we're gonna start plugging away on it, and by we I mean Alex, and we're paying him to do it. So I guess it's a combo effort. So yeah, that's what I got.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah,
We appreciate you.
Sign up for the Creekside Open. Pros.
Pro weekend.
All right.
Sign up. You want to set up for pro weekend?
Actually, can I? Actually, I think we're gone pro weekend.
Are we?
We're in Colorado.
Is
We
that
might
that
be.
week?
I think so.
Okay.
We'll have to see. We'll figure it out. Thank you guys for watching. Love you guys. See you later.
Peace.